This is Salt's YouTube and we are having hot topic conversations, and today I'm joined by Tim.
Hello.
It's Tim.
Hi.
And Tim has joined us because he does a very specific job which gives him very specific insight into relationships. Tell the guys what you do.
So I am a family lawyer, which is, I guess...
That's not how I say it.
A nice word. You probably call it a divorce lawyer.
If people ask... I say that you're a divorce lawyer.
Yeah.
And you're a Christian divorce lawyer as well.
Indeed, yes.
That's an interesting... I can't wait to dig into this because there's
mix.
a lot to sort of process within that, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Years and years ago, a friend of mine was getting married and
Yeah.
we talked about the idea, and I was freshly Christian.
Okay.
We talked about the idea of her getting a prenup.
Oh, okay.
For
Prenup.
her, yeah.
Okay.
Before her wedding. And I said, well, I don't see why you wouldn't, just protect your interests, protect yourself a bit. And she said she decided not to. Mm-hmm. She said she thought that if she did that, she would be expecting the prenup to protect her instead of God.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was her perspective on it. Now, obviously, this isn't like the setup for marriage was completely different in the Bible. There's no set thing. But what do you feel about prenups? Do you feel like Christian couples should not even consider the idea of divorce and trust that the other person would behave in a way that is just and fair if it came to it anyway, and just trust God that they're answering to God and you're answering to God, so he'll steer everyone right?
So a few points on this. I think firstly, we've got to bear in mind that those stats that we mentioned earlier, that sadly sort of within the church as well as outside the church, the stats of a divorce happening is still quite high. Yeah. And also, I think through my experience of working with lots of couples who are going through a divorce, the emotions are just at absolute high, and that can really cloud rational thinking. Often when I have a first meeting about a prenup, it's not necessarily with the couple themselves or the one side of the couple who I'm representing. It's with the parents, because there might be a family business, there might be lots of inheritance going their way, and the parents are wanting to,
protect their family,
if the mum and the dad,
family assets.
exactly, if the mum and dad have spent their whole career building up a company from nothing, and little Tommy is let's call him little Tommy, is getting involved in the family business, has a share of the family business, and will one day take over the family business, then they don't want to see potentially half of that company disappearing through a potential divorce. So they want to protect what they've built up. You get insurance to guard against things that you don't want to happen. You get travel insurance in case
your bags get lost.
Yeah, we remember that. We've been through that.
Yeah, that's happened to Tim before.
That's happened
Spent
before.
the first 5 days of a holiday in a supermarket t-shirt and swimming trunks.
That was my favourite t-shirt. And so you get insurance to guard against things. You don't want to happen. You'd get life insurance in case you walk outside and get hit by a bus.
I suppose we don't feel like we're not trusting God if we get travel insurance.
Well, exactly. You're making this agreement when the sun's shining.
Yeah.
So it's not coming from a place of, the relationship's broken down and the emotions are really high, and it's just, I want to get you. And you're having that early discussion about finances. And you're saying, look, this is everything I have, this is everything you have. And having that openness right at the start of a marriage is actually, I think, quite healthy. But I do also...
So you're saying communication at the start of a marriage is healthy?
Have I mentioned that?
So weird. I was pleased it finally came up.
Yeah, exactly. But I do also see the other side, and saying that some people may argue that you're planning for something to go.
You're kind of creating a little off ramp, off of a road that should have ideally no off ramps.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of the ideal versus reality, isn't it? As well.
It's the pre-Apple Eden versus the post-Apple Eden.
There we go. What a reference.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely sold on it, but I think that is an interesting and valid perspective. I'm gonna look. It's not like I'm having that conversation anytime soon, but I'll bear it in mind.
But and also I think if there's family influence or pressure, is a big factor in it, and if there's a huge disparity financially, that might play into it. But then there are plenty of cases as well where people have had a discussion, and they've been like, well, actually, in our circumstances, we don't feel like a prenup's appropriate, and absolutely fine. As I say, it's just not everyone needs one, not everyone will want one, but it's probably worth having that chat, and not even having that chat about, think about it as a very open, quite a vulnerable, hard chat to have.
But that's another one of those little friction points that you address early days, well, at the appropriate time.
Yeah.
And then...
Second date. This is going really well.
So call your accountant. Yeah, it's one of those, no one would love that conversation, but it's an important one to clarify, to straighten out.
Yeah. And I think it's quite an easy one, just particularly as a Christian, just be sort of not having that conversation, because it's, of course, but it's going to be a perfect marriage, etc. But as I was saying earlier, from what I've learned from working with all these relationships and all these couples, is marriage takes a lot of work, and it's not a sort of magic one solution.